coming at your mouth with your blah blah blah. Zip your lip like a padlock, and meet me in the back with the jack of the jukebox. I don't care where you live at, just turn around, boy, let me hit that.
What's up, guys? It is so weird not saying Shadowhunters, Angels, and Dawnwelters alike, but since these aren't my Shadowhunters videos, I'm trying to get out of the habit of saying that in case anyone sort of drops by these videos who aren't really into Shadowhunters. So until I'm doing my reviews again, I'm just going to call you guys. Pretty boring, I know, but like I don't really have like a name for... I'm not big enough to have a name for my viewers yet, so we're just going to go with guys. So, hi guys, welcome to my first sort of... I say original video, I really mean just a video that's not about Shadowhunters or a fandom in particular. It's just sort of, I want to call it a video essay type thing, but I'm by no means like Lindsay Ellis. Like I wouldn't be able to like make like a 40-minute long video and it wouldn't be very in-depth or as technical as hers. But I think I am going to go with video essay because it's just basically me getting like thoughts out in the video, kind of putting it out there, see what you guys think, start a conversation a bit. So yeah, we'll call it video essays for now. Video essays, original videos. Videos that's not about Shadowhunters, let's just go with that. So the first thing I want to talk about as my part of non-Shadowhunter video is actually something that's bothered me for a while as being a person who's been in like fandoms since 2011. I would say I started becoming involved in online fandom in 2011. I've been fans of things since I was a child, but as someone who's been part of online fandom since 2011, I have noticed a trend that has kind of worsened as the years have gone on, is that there's no conversation anymore. And what I mean by conversation, well, no conversation. Basically, like, no one talks, no one really debates, everyone is pretty much set in their ways, and where that can be okay, there does get to a point where it becomes quite damaging, and I don't know if damaging is the right word, but what I mean is that no one is willing to discuss, like, different opinions. No one's willing to talk to someone who might be on the opposite end of the spectrum to what you believe. It's all now very much, if I believe you're this, and I'm not letting you explain yourself. And I think I just don't understand it. The way that the sharing of ideas and points of view and different opinions, having different opinions is what sets us all apart as people. And the fact that no one is willing to talk about people with different opinions anymore, just... if you want to hang out with people or be around or surrounded by people who all have the same point of view as you, then you're not really going to grow that much in terms of your views, your opinions. You're just going to stay very much in the same sort of square or circle or whatever shape you want. And where some people are happy doing that, I for one have always been very open to talking to people about different points of view, different opinions, different beliefs on the ways things should be or the way stuff should go. But it seems that no one is willing really to do that anymore. And I just think it's very sad. And it's something that I've noticed, especially over the past year, that's been going on, because no one is willing to, like, if your opinion is different, it seems you are wrong, or you are a sexist, or a homophobe, or albiest, is that the word? Or you're a misogynist. You're just what they say you are because your opinion is different. And what I mean by that is, I'll use an example. I am a big fan, and I have no shame admitting this, alright? I am a fan of the manga Killing Stalking. And if anyone knows the manga Killing Stalking, you know that there's a lot of controversy that surrounds that manga. I'm not going to get into that. I might make a video on it at some point, because I do believe a lot of the controversy is misplaced, but it's not something to get into in this video. I'm a big fan of the manga Killing Stalking, but there is a big controversy that surrounds that manga because of the theme and the plot and what goes on, and the characters. And when I heard about this, I decided to make a post sharing my ideas on Tumblr on my point of view, what I thought, why I didn't agree with the controversy, and I called it, what was it? It was something like why I don't think killing stalking is problematic, or I don't think it's abuse, or I don't think it promotes abuse. I think that's what it was called. And I did include, at the bottom of the post that I made, I said, I am willing to talk to anyone who has a different opinion. I'm willing to talk and debate with anyone who is interested, as long as you are respectful, as long as you are decent, as long as you're not basically being an asshole about it. And I should have saw it coming, but almost instantly there was someone replying to me being a dick. And I've dealt with a lot of dicks on Tumblr, trust me. As a lesbian, I've probably dealt with more dicks than I probably should, but there are a lot of people, and I should know because it's Tumblr, I should have expected it, but immediately there was some person replying to the post saying, oh, you're a homophobe, you're a sexist and a homophobe, and all this and all that. And I kept trying to encourage them to give me reasons, like, give me reasons why, talk to me here, let's have a discussion, but they were not willing. And they kept insisting that they were giving me reasons, but they really weren't. And I was having people sending me messages going, what is up with this person? They're not giving me any points. They're just sort of insulting. And that is the trend that people seem to have developed in mainly Tumblr, but it seems to be in general. If you have a different point of view than someone else, then they're not willing to talk to you about it. If they believe that people who like killing stalking because of the controversy, if someone likes it, then they are a homophobe. They have to be. There's no other reason why they would enjoy a manga that has this controversy unless they are a homophobe or sexist or whatever it is you want to throw at the people who enjoy it. And instead of saying, hey, I don't really like it, I see this and I see that and this is how I view it, can we talk about it? Like, what makes you think that it's not controversial? What makes you think that it's okay to enjoy it? Instead, you get the insults and people being rude and people not willing to debate. I got them saying the person was saying things to me like, I'm not willing to debate with a homophobe. And I was like, yeah, but maybe if you debated with me, you would see that I'm not a homophobe. If you would talk to me properly and not just continue to insult, then, you would know I'm not a homophobe. Why would I be? And I don't mind name calling. I have a very thick skin. When I came out the first time, I had someone messaging me calling me a dyke, and I just, who cares, Who cares what someone calls you? But it does get a bit old having homophobe constantly thrown at you. Because when I opened up to my point of view on the Killing Stalking manga, I got like people calling me a homophobe over and over again, and it gets old, trust me. It gets old when they're not willing to talk with you like a mature adult. To be fair, they could be children. A lot of children use Tumblr nowadays. For all I know, it could have been like a 15-year-old in their bedroom sending me messages calling me a homophobe. I don't know. But the point still stands that no one's willing to discuss anymore. No one's willing to talk to you about your differing points of view or your different opinions or your different viewpoints on different fandoms, books, mangas, movies, even politics. If you are on a different side from someone else, then you are just immediately the enemy. And why? Why can't we discuss these things? I'll give another example. Recently it was announced that Doctor Who, the 13th Doctor, is going to be a woman. That is the most ridiculous thing that I think I've ever heard someone doing to a television show. And as soon as this happened, and as soon as people were upset about it, because obviously they were, this was a TV show that was 50 years old in 2013, so it's 54 years old now, and they're suddenly making it a woman. And I can understand where people would want that. I can also understand why people like me are upset about it. But again, no one was willing to talk about it. The BBC were releasing videos about how straight white cis males who live in their mother's basements were all upset about the fact that there was a female doctor, and how there were all these male fans who were angry. Even actors who used to be on the show were calling people who were upset not fans. And as someone who has grown up with this show, this Doctor Who has been in my life since I was 4 years old, I don't like the idea of a female doctor, and I will not be watching. But I am not a sexist. I just don't like the idea that they've introduced this so late. There's 50 years of tradition, and then they feel like they have the right to change it. I just don't like that, and I don't feel like they have the right to do that. And that's my point of view. I'm not saying the Doctor can't be a woman. That is so wrong. Blah, 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 women are inferior. I just don't like this trend where women are starting to replace male characters, like the female Ghostbusters, and I think they're making a female Ocean's 11. I just don't understand this trend of of them replacing male characters with females. Because they say it makes them empowered, and so little girls can see strong female leads. But what I don't understand is, if you want little girls to see strong female leads, then write new shows with strong female leads, write new characters, write new movies, new TV shows. All you're really saying here is that a female character can't be strong unless it replaces the position of a man. And you can see what the problem is. In my point of view, I feel like I need to keep insisting this, in my point of view, and I'm willing to talk about this. I always say I'm willing to debate, but I'm being called a sexist now. I've even been called a transphobe, just because I don't like the idea of the Doctor being a female. I am not a fan, apparently, anymore, because I don't like the Doctor being a female. And it's annoying that there's no discussion, no debate, no conversation. And this isn't me just saying this because I'm the one on the insulting end, because all I want to do is open up dialogue between both sides. I want to talk with people, see their point of views. I want to understand where they are coming from. But instead of getting understanding and dialogue and getting conversation between opposite sides, we're getting insults, and we're getting people being rude, and we're getting just no one willing to talk. All they do is insult. And my sister introduced me to this idea when I was a couple of years ago, when I was going through some drama with my cousin. She said that as soon as you throw a swear word into your point, if you're typing out a point or writing a point, as soon as a swear word goes in there, you've lost. As soon as you get angry, you've lost your stance. No one has the ability anymore of discussing these ideas and different points of view and different sides. No one has the ability to discuss this anymore as mature, responsible adults. No one is willing to talk like we aren't 5 years old. You're just immediately getting insulted, and the F word's getting thrown out, and one or two bastards get thrown in there too, just for good measure. And they always look for something to insult you with, instead of maybe trying to defend their side by showing up, giving their points, why they like it, why they believe it's this way or that way, why they disagree. And I feel like debate is a dying thing because no one is willing to do it properly. Debating isn't insulting or throwing swear words out or just being overall rude. And debating is when you talk about different sides in a fair, unbiased, mature way. And I'm not going to say I was perfect. When I first joined online fandom, I was probably the exact same. I was throwing insults at people who disagreed with me. I were calling them idiots, and just I didn't agree with them, and I didn't want to hear what they had to say. But I'm trying now to listen to people's different points of view. There would have been a time when I was younger where I would have slaughtered someone if they said they didn't enjoy the Hunger Games, and now I would just say, okay, why not? And then if they told me a decent enough reason, I would say, well, fair enough, because people have to be different. We all can't be the same. But then if no one is willing to talk about different points of view, or at the very least accept different points of view, then we're all going to end up just being like shapes in like little groups of everyone who's the same. And that sounds boring. Maybe that's just me, but that sounds extremely boring, to be just surrounded by people who are the exact same as you. You can't have a proper discussion because either they get offended, or they start trying to offend you, or they start swearing or lashing out or getting people to come at you in the anonymous inbox on Tumblr. And no one's willing to talk. No one's willing to have a decent discussion. No one's willing to have a debate. It's all just, you're this. Oh, you don't like that the Doctor's a female? Oh, well, you're a sexist. Oh, you like killing, stalking? You're a homophobe. And why? Like, I understand why people... I see why people would think that someone who doesn't like the Doctor being a female, I can see why on the surface they would think that maybe you're a sexist. But maybe asking why could shed a bit of light on the subject and why, and instead of maybe throwing out this insult of sexism, why don't you actually try and find out before you get up in arms and offended? And then people always, of course, have the argument where they're like, I'm not going to debate with a sexist and I'm not going to debate with a homophobe. And honestly, I suppose those people would rather just be surrounded by people who are like them. Maybe it's just me being weird that I feel like I want to be surrounded by people who will disagree with me or have different points of view to me or want to discuss like open ideas. I developed one of the best friendships I've ever had from disagreeing. Neve, who I do the podcast with, I was in love with the Mortal Instruments when we met, and she didn't like them anymore. And we talked about it, and that helped me develop one of the strongest friendships I've ever had. And if we didn't have that common ground, I can't say for sure if we would have become friends. And there's nothing wrong with disagreeing, and there's nothing wrong with believing a particular thing, but I feel like once you start throwing accusations like sexism, homophobia, misogyny, stuff like that, it's losing its impact because it's getting thrown at people for any little reason. I was saying this to the person who I was talking to on Tumblr about killing stalking. They called me a homophobe in every other message to the point where it just lost its meaning. I even told him that. I said, look, you're throwing homophobe out nearly in every message you're sending me. It's really losing its impact. It sounds like you just throw it out at anything. And I told him, like, look, I'm gay myself, and I know gay people can be homophobic in their own ways, I guess, but just because I enjoy this particular thing, it doesn't mean I'm a manga. This doesn't mean I'm a homophobe. And then I tried to explain, here's why I think. Here's why I think this. Here's what my reasons are. And no, they just weren't taking it. They were like, you know, and fair enough, okay? We ended up blocking each other. Because sometimes, I understand, sometimes there are people you can't talk to. There are people who are going to just shun you. But the lack of conversation is really starting to bother me. Because I like debating. I like discussing different ideas. I like sharing different opinions. Maybe, as I say, that's just me. Maybe I'm just shouting into an echo chamber here, like saying, someone please debate with me, like a decent human being. There's nothing I respect more than the people who would come into my comment section and say, I disagree with you and here's the reasons why, and then we can talk about it. There have been people who have come to me on my TMI podcast and they've said, I know that there's these problems, but I still enjoy it. And that is absolutely fine. In fact, I really respect people who do that as well. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you like something if it has problems. That's something else that I'm going to have to talk about. I'm going to make a video on that as well. There's nothing wrong with enjoying something that people may consider problematic. And I just want to debate it, like, decently. If someone wants to debate with me, I want them to do it decently. I want them to be, like, a mature, responsible adult. Because, one, as soon as you start insulting me anyway, I tune out. As soon as I start getting insulted, I'm just like, okay, this person isn't really, they're not taking this seriously. So, you kind of lose as soon as you start. You lose the fight before you've even started if you start getting worked up. And if you're offended, then obviously it's not okay, but it's all right to be offended by something, but you need to kind of present why you're offended, so maybe the person who offended you will understand. You need to do it like a mature, responsible person, and just do it in a, basically just explain why you were offended by something, and maybe the person you're talking to will understand, and maybe they'll apologize. But as soon as you get like angry and start swearing and lashing out, that is when people don't take you seriously and kind of go, like, it's what I do. As soon as people start throwing insults at me, I kind of tune out. I don't know, I just want to make this video about how, like, I feel like debate is like a dying thing, especially on sites like Tumblr. And if anyone has any, like, ideas for videos that they want me to make, I'll surely do that. Like, I'm open to any idea, anything you want me to talk about, even if it's to do with Shadowhunters. I did say I would do a couple of Shadowhunters videos, so I will talk about anything you want me to talk about. I have a couple of ideas already in the works, but if there's anything that you want me to do, I'll note it down for sure. I reached 1k followers on Tumblr, thank you, so I'll have to make some sort of video about that, so I'll have to figure something out for that. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but sure I'll figure it out. So yeah, that was just kind of like a rambly video. That's why it's called Erin Rambles, I suppose. So yeah, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Do you think I'm just wrong? Do you want to debate with me about it? Do you want to debate with me about my video about debates? So let me know, Shadowhunters. Oh god, I almost said Shadowhunters. So let me know, guys, and just comment below. Follow my social media and blah if you want to. I post updates about my videos on my Twitter mainly. So yeah, follow me there if you want. And I'll see you next week for my next video, oh my god. I'll see you next week for my videos, guys, and remember, please debate like adults. We don't want to be considered children.